Good afternoon, evening, everybody. It's 5 o'clock, Tuesday, May 20th. I want to go ahead and start the work session for capital improvement projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome everybody. This process normally happens at a different time of the year, but as we've told you a few times, the city has changed their time frame, and it actually works really well to be coming right on the heels of the operations budget when we're already thinking, budget. And as you know, just especially for new board members, the backdrop for CIP is a 5-year time frame, building a plan 5 years out, and I'm just going to add this piece. You're going to hear it from both Tracy and Andrew multiple times during this session, but the target keeps moving in this economy. We've got quite a lot of fluctuation in the market. It tends to be heading in the wrong direction for us, obviously, but so some of the items on the CIP you'll be familiar with. They've been on the CIP for years, but the price tag has changed. And so the challenge for us now is to kind of keep up with that and not end up having to find money that's already been, after a certain amount has been earmarked and allocated from the city for these projects, having to find the difference or go back to the city and say, the price tag has changed. But of course, they're having the same challenge as is everybody in our professional and personal lives, I'm sure. But I'm going to turn it over now to Tracy and Andrew, who have done an amazing job doing the heavy lift on this piece. They've added a few new projects that have presented themselves that need to be placed on CIP, and they'll explain some of those. And then again, a lot of these projects you'll be familiar with, having seen them on the CIP for some years now. Tracy?
Yes. Good evening, Chair Burbidge, members of the school board, Mr. Tillett. Tonight, as Mr. Tillett just referenced, we are presenting the proposed CIP for fiscal year 27 to the beyond fiscal year 31 time period. It's been distributed to you. The very first item in the CIP is the actual proposed budget. And the second through fourth pages are descriptions of the projects. So that's what I would like to review now. So here's the actual proposed budget. These projects are based on current quotes. Mr. Roberts got quotes for all the projects. They have been adjusted for construction projects with a 5% contingency and also with an inflationary rate for each year, a compounded inflationary rate. So what I would like to do, we'll come back to this, but I'd like to go over the new projects on the CIP. So, and what these are projects that were not on the last approved CIP that was done last year. The first, for Poquoson Primary School, is the Intercom PA System Upgrade Project, which has been put in the FY28 lane on your budget. The Poquoson Elementary School, also with the Intercom PA System Upgrade Project that's been added to the fiscal year 28 lane. And the Poquoson High School, there are 3 items that are new on the list. The Fire Alarm System Project, which has been included for fiscal year 27. The Digitizing of Student Records Project, which has been included on fiscal year 28. And also the Indoor Batting and Athletic Training Facility that's been included on the fiscal year 31 project list. We also have taken last year's CIP for the existing projects and have reallocated them between fiscal years based on analysis of the needs out at the schools and operations. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Keep me straight. Okay. The first is Poquoson Primary School, where the roof paint project was moved from fiscal year 30 up 2 years. Due to needs of the school system. The Poquoson Middle School, the gym AC project was moved from 28 to 27. And also the locker replacement project, the actual lockers, was moved from post fiscal year 30 to fiscal year 31. For the Poquoson High School, the tennis court project has been moved 3 years up, from fiscal year 30 to fiscal year 27. The media room and infrastructure upgrade project has been moved up from post fiscal year 30 to 28. The Bradshaw Fields renovation project was moved from post fiscal year 30 up to 29. And the locker room renovation project was moved from post 30 to fiscal year 31. In addition to that, for the division-wide, the asphalt repair project was moved from post fiscal year 30 to fiscal year 30. Now, before we bring Mr. Roberts up here for any questions regarding the specific projects, I thought we would go over the projects that are in progress right now. So just to let you know, kind of put where we get a little pulse here, where we are with projects that have been previously approved. So they're funded and they're previously approved. Poquoson Elementary School, they're involved with the exterior painting as well as the gym floor upgrade. Poquoson Middle School, the gym roof replacement, the kitchen mini splits, AC units, and the courtyard renovation. Poquoson High School, involved with the roof replacement, getting quotes, the parking lot upgrade, the job coach vehicle, and the basketball hoops replacement. And division-wide, working on the entire phone system replacement that serves not only the schools, but also the city. The school security grant equipment, the weapon detection system equipment, the GPS software, and then also interior door badge readers for all classrooms. So that's where we are here. I'll go back to the actual budget. So at this time, I just want to mention that these are put in the lanes, what I call them, the year lanes, of what has been determined by the school system, by the staff at the school, where it's needed. That may not necessarily be where they land once they go over to the city and actually get approved for funding. So that's we'll know more about that, and that'll be brought back to you once the city's done their work, which is going to be in the fall. We feed into it. So, alrighty. So at this time, we'll entertain any questions that you may have regarding the projects.
What escalation rate did you use year over year?
It was 1.8%. I used the result from the river economic indicators. I can send that to you.
That's the year over year escalation
Yes,
rate, right?
Right. And again, I compounded it. So
You may want to, construction's actually seeing 3.5 right now. It's what, 3.5,
we can definitely,
about where we're-
do that.
where we're seeing it.
Yeah, because this is what I'm looking at is based on history, and so then you have to account for
Now, I can find out what Engineering News Record has had for like the last couple months,
it. Right.
but I'm pretty sure it's about 3.5.
Thank
So,
you for sharing that.
so
that'd be something we can discuss, we want to bring back, because it's going to be approved in June, but I can make those changes.
and obviously the ones that I'd be more concerned about are the six-figure, the seven-figure ones.
Yeah. And so it does have that 1.8 and also the 5% contingency. Any other questions? Sure.
Just I guess it's general, but when I look at some of the items, it indicates this estimate includes a number of different things. For instance, Bradshaw Field, it mentions shed and other what I kind of think of as separate items. I was just curious, I don't know how or if this would make a difference, but have you looked at, like, okay, this year we're going to do this portion of it, where things make sense to do. Then maybe spread total over the next year, we'll do this part of it. I know that's probably not ideal, but I don't know figures and all that. That's why I'm asking. Is that anything that you look at when you say, hey, maybe this as a total, you know, is a chunk of money for, let's say, this budget. But if we broke it up and we said, let's do half of it this budget and half of it next budget, and anything, is that ever considered or something you think?
Yeah, any type of phased work, you know, we do look at, and that's something we can consider, you know, like we said, we're not approving until June here, that we can go back and do. It's just, you know, if you're doing that, this becomes very kind of drawn out, and also
Right.
prices, you know, will increase over time for certain products.
Exactly.
And just for Bradshaw Field, for instance, you know, we're looking at stands, we're looking at the press box. I view that as kind of a package, you know, just because if you bring in the press box, that's great, that's a great first step, but, you know, the seating is also just as important, just because if you've been to one of our games, that's something that, you know, I know that we're in need of, which is a good thing, you know, we're successful.
Oh, right,
We want to put fans in seats, so, but yeah, any project, you know, you can phase out, that is an option, if that's something that we would like to consider more, you know, I'm all ears, so.
I would like to
Yep.
address I'd like to address the funding piece of it. So like this particular project, it says 166, 200, let me just say, let's pretend it's 150. So if we were going to like do that in 4 installments or 3 or whatever, if you push that under and we spread it out among the years, we got to keep it over 50 if we want the city to fund it.
Be on the list.
For the
right.
CIP. Otherwise,
Gotcha.
it's going to go in operating, and then it's
Sure.
a year to year. We
Right.
just want to be very just aware of, though these things, let's say I split that 50, 50, 50, they'll have it out there, but they may be able to fund it 1 year, but what happens if it's not the next?
Right.
So that's
right.
the only thing that
No,
I'll
that's
just say a
very good
caveat.
point. Yeah, and you've answered my questions. It was just something. Mainly for the, you know, maybe Bradshaw wasn't a good example, but like a large project like we're talking about. I know too, it makes sense in a lot of cases from cost standpoint to do it all at one time, or you get one contractor, or however you do it, it doesn't make sense to probably try to split, so, thank you.
And
sir.
just to add a little bit to that as well, oftentimes on big projects, the city goes out for debt on some of those projects. So they go out for a total project rather than piecemeal it because it's a debt service item. Typically, those are big HVAC roofs,
Right,
that kind of
roofs
thing.
and- right.
Bradshaw probably wouldn't be one of those. We're also going to be talking later about the use of year-end funds. We always look to target items that we can chip off of this list, and we'll be talking a little bit about that
Later on.
very soon. And that's one of the places that we look. And when we do that, we often will look at, can we split up a project and buy this thing now because we have the money available, and then leave the other piece on CIP. So
Right,
there are
that makes
options in that.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you
That's-
for the question.
That's good. I did have one other question, just real quick. We had such a productive work session, joint work session with the council, back when we did the budget, and one of the things I thought about was, actually, I mentioned it in an email to folks, and said, hey, you know, is it something maybe we would like to consider looking at this, only because they're also, like you said, looking at it after we're done with it. I don't know if it would be a benefit or not. To me, I think it might be, but is that something that maybe we can talk with the city about and just say, are they interested in, once we get this together, you know, presenting it and we sit down, and maybe we can provide some additional information and vice versa as we're kind of going through, just some food for thought, so. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. I had a question, I may be jumping ahead. So we have the bus replacements on there, and I think I was reading in the file notes, maybe you can clarify for me. I think it said we had 22 buses currently, and of those are beyond what
The
we
15
said?
inch,
is
yeah.
it What does the division need for buses? Because, again, I think in the past you've said we have 12 bus drivers. I'm
Right.
trying to do the math in my head, and that,
Right, and, we do have an aging fleet, on the back half there, which these 4 new buses that, were just approved and we're going to be arriving soon. One already has, that's going to be in my next presentation, but that will take out those, the ones that are 15 plus now. So we would be up to speed, going forward for a year, and then, of course, more age and fall into that cycle. But to answer your direct question there, we use a lot of different buses for a lot of different routes because we're not up to the all 77 passenger buses that for higher capacity. So, we have routes that we can get away with a smaller capacity bus that makes more sense, but some routes we have to switch, same driver, just a different school or route to upgrade to that, 77 passenger bus. So once we get, all our buses to the capacities that we need it, or if we get more drivers, which would be greatly appreciated, then, our fleet will be in full effect. So, we're kind of having to make do right now, but if we got more drivers, we can definitely use that buses. And you always want to keep kind of some spares because, buses break down, they get a lot of wear and tear on them. And it's nice to have a fleet where you can go and trust reliable spares to switch out, let the garage do their thing, pick it up the next day, and you don't miss a beat. So, I get your point. Right now it does look a little bit of a disparity there, but it's really a driver shortage thing that we've got going on.
you have a feel for how many spares we currently have?
Yeah, right now I would say we have around 8. Now, when I say spares, that's buses that could still be used, midday runs, whatever. But at any given time, that's pretty much how many we have just sitting to be used. Yep.
And I can speak to that a little bit as well. It's nice to have spare buses. The reason that we keep more spare buses than perhaps we need is because their value is minimal. So if you put a bus out for sale, it brings a minimal amount of money. Their value, once they've reached the mileage limit, is, I guess somebody might pick it up for a camper trailer or something. They don't have, other school divisions, in other words, are not in the market of used buses. We probably get more life out of our buses than most. We've got a great team down at the bus garage or the county garage, city garage, that maintain these buses, but it's wise to keep several of them. A brand new bus can go down and need a day repair, and we can't go to the Enterprise and rent a bus, so we have to have a spare available at all times, and you might get 3 down in a day, for example, that have minor, flat tire or a dead battery, and the run has to continue. So the spare bus fleet is wise to have, and if it was that we could sell them for profit, that would be great, but we get minimal money for a used bus, unfortunately.
And I also want to mention, we do a lot of preventative maintenance, regular maintenance on the buses too, and it's really nice to have those spares available because, sometimes that's 1-2 day, jobs. So it's nice to have those spare buses, and, the diesel buses, they have to do regens every now and then. So it's just really nice to have those.
I did have one more question. I see I think you said we moved the tennis course refurbishment up 3 years, and this is for the school-owned tennis court. Okay. What was the logic in moving that up?
So when we first discovered after recoding that the cracks appeared pretty quickly, we had someone to come out. They surveyed it, and they found some mineral deposits coming up from like the ground through the actual surface. So they were saying that in their professional opinion that you could become a safety issue sooner than later because it's an issue that the coatings are just not going to fix. So we're really having to look at the foundation and seeing what needs to be done to repair that so we can safely, utilize that for years to come. We're in a good spot right now, but, these cracks are growing and, more time goes, along, it's just going to get worse.
And do we have a feel for like the area affected on those courts? Is it all of those courts are equally affected?
Yes, if you visited the high school right now and walk the tennis courts, those cracks are through the whole surface.
And I will add that I went out there during the winter months and actually took pictures of it. I couldn't believe the cracks and the sizes of the cracks. And Artie and I talked about, doing something, which I think they did what they could just temporarily because they were starting in April, I think, practice and all. My concern, I played on those courts and so that tells you how old they are, and I am. But my concern was, first, of course, safety issue, but the other thing is, you got, like any sport, you've got teams coming there and go out there and look. To me, they just look horrific. From the standpoint of just pride in the school and having something that looks nice. As a matter of fact, the city redid their courts, which looked great. They also turned one into a pickleball court, which I'm not against. But that's another court that, if I'm not mistaken, that the team would be using typically, or we used to use when there were two there. So, so part of it was a discussion that I had with them, Artie and Andrew, about it, because I just felt like redid the track, and that's been good, and that was costly. And I know we did with the football field, and there's a number of other things. I just hate to kind of see that one keep going and just get worse and worse till it becomes something we have to close off or something. So that's just my concern.
I guess my main question was more driven to, is that a bigger priority than maybe the concession wrestling building, which is an issue for longer? We had some people come speak about that facility's not up to date with dual facilities for both genders.
Actually, kind of along that same vein was my question as well. Originally, this has been a couple years ago, on the concession in wrestling, I think we had even thrown out $1 million on that. But I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that was really kind of just an initial throw out of a number. And I noticed we're down on the number. And of course, my eyes aren't getting to it right now. There we go. Yes.
576.
Thank you. 576. Still don't see it. Yes, I knew it's there. But anyway, there we go. 576. Thank you. 576, 800. No change in scale of that project, though. That was my bigger question there. I saw the decrease, and again, I thought that was just kind of our first attempt of, hey, we know something needs to be done and we need to investigate it, but we are still talking separate facilities, total overhaul, concessions, et cetera.
That project, from feedback we've gotten from multiple groups, including the folks who inhabit it, the wrestling club, is that the metal building there is in really good shape, just needs some upgrades, so to speak. There's some minor things. We've maintained that building along with partnership with the wrestling club over the years pretty well, but the block building is the real problem. When we originally looked at it, we were thinking tear it all down, and that's where the $1 million came from, and that was, again, a placeholder on the CIP down the road. After getting really serious about it with the wrestling club, we and I think you were on the board when we decided to move it up and get a price tag that made sense to tear down the block building, which is uninhabitable from my perspective and everybody that's looked at it, and build another metal building that matches the current one, so it would look like one complex that would inhabit dressing rooms, showers, all the things that you would put in a state-of-the-art wrestling program, and also a space for concessions. So we kind of just looked at some general ideas of those metal buildings. We put up 2 now that have served very, very well, and the cost is probably pretty accurate unless something crazy happens in the market for that structure. And like you said, we've moved it up. So, but to your point, Chris, it's always the challenge of which is more important, and I would argue for both, and we need both. And And as you know, when we turn this in, the city has to decide how to fund these projects. And then in addition to our requests from CIP, they have those requests from Public Works and from safety and, every department in the city. So they have to kind of decide prioritizing from the city level. It's a tough job. This work is really tough, deciding which is more important than the other, because I think we could all build a strong case that each of these projects are important and should be done right away. I hear you, and that's the hard work that you all do. We've put them where we think they are most appropriate, but we certainly appreciate your input if you all decide and can agree that we should move one ahead of the other or even in the same year. Wherever we put the big ticket items, it shows up as a huge expense in that year. So we tried to spread out the smaller items over a period of time. But we have strategically placed each of these projects in the place that staff believes is most appropriate. But
Well, and just to comment, I agree with you too. I think that's the rub, is trying to figure out what do we do first. And I will say, I had a note here. I used the Bradshaw Field renovation as an example, but this actually was one of the ones I marked at possibly considering, because you have a demolishment, right? That's something that could be done this year, and then you have it scheduled for next, right, to do the construction. I don't know, does that make it better? Are the numbers better? Nobody's using the building, right, so you really wouldn't have, my first question was going to be, what do they do for practice? But you just explained the metal building they're in is working, so that wouldn't be an issue, is what I think I understand.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons we have it placed where it's placed. It is fully functional. The only part that's not being used now is the block building. That I think there's some storage in there, but I don't think it's being used for any activities. I'll say that. I guess short answer is we probably could look at phasing that project out, but it does make sense to me to do it all at one time, because once we start the project, then the wrestling room is probably uninhabitable during the project. So it would make sense to me. I mean, when you start a construction site, typically, like we're getting ready to put new HVAC system on the roof at the high school, as soon as the kids walk out of there on June the 6th, we start, and then they'll flag off most of that campus. We won't be able to use it because it's a construction zone. So
it could affect
the usefulness of the project in an extended period of time. And again, I'm not a construction expert, but typically we do projects that are going to that require some demolition in one phase, so we can demolish, and you don't reduce the usefulness of it for a length of time. In that's the only space in town where they do wrestling.
Right, and that's why I had made the note to ask about it. So that would affect.
And back to the juggling between years for the tennis courts, that was part of our thinking as well, in that the wrestling room is now fully functional in the way that it has been for many, many years. We don't impede the wrestling program by by the shape of the building at this point. But if those cracks get more extensive on the tennis court, it could actually shut down the tennis court, because the one thing we're not going to do is put kids in an unsafe place. So that's part of our thinking. We don't know. We had an engineer come in and look at that and said it's got to be done. We don't know if a year's worth of ice, cold and hot, are really bad for concrete in below sea level. So the changes in temperatures and the rise and fall of the water table are bad on the concrete in below sea level. So that's the issue we're really dealing with, and Having
But-
grown up in a seafaring area, that is part of the dynamic, and that is what we're dealing with. Those courts should not be in that shape if they were built on high ground, but the water table rises and falls on that property, and as it does, it's eroding the concrete from the bottom and creating those, what are right now hairline cracks. The engineer says that's going to grow over time, and you can keep putting paint on top of it, but that's not going to change it. So part of our thinking, not to get in the weeds on that, but part of our thinking is that if not taken care of before that happens, we can't tennis on those courts, and that's a whole program, a very successful program at Poquoson High School.
We do have access to the city-owned courts. which
We do, and we can't run a full competition because of the number of the city courts, especially now that one of those courts, as Mr. Claude mentioned, is now a pickleball court. So we use all of the courts during a normal match. If we were reduced down to only the city courts, I'm not sure we could hold matches here.
And another,
It'd be all night. I
Yeah,
think.
it would be, and I'm not sure we'd even qualify. We might have to go to TAB or somewhere else to.
yeah, another key point for the wrestling room, the cinder block building, I agree, it's in rough shape. However, that's where their restroom facilities are housed. So when you walk in to that initial door, it's kind of like a little locker room scenario, and to the left is the restroom area. So if we demoed that, they wouldn't have access to that unless they walked into the building or field house or what have you.
And,
So-
and one of the things, though, in that respect, we do have really nice renovated restrooms in the middle school. It's not convenient, because there is you walk across the parking lot there, but that space is available in the event we need it. Of course, the wrestling folks know we'd have to work out a plan for them to use that space, but they are renovated. In the renovation, those locker rooms were upgraded during the renovation.
Yeah, I think you actually answered my next question. And so those facilities would be available to our wrestlers, girls or boys, if we have that situation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that was a healthy discussion, and the next steps are to allow you time now to pour through this, give it some deep thought, and if you do have recommendations of moving something forward, backward, input, Mike's input about the percentage used for the increase, inflationary increase seems wise to me. So we'll probably start plugging those things in, but then we'll be asking in the June meeting, it'll be on the agenda for approval, because we need to send it to the city by the end of June for them to do their work over the summer. And they usually, city council takes it up early in the fall for the whole city.
That's it.
All right, adjourn this one.
This adjourns the work session at 5:30. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 Poquoson School Board meeting. I would like to call this meeting to order. Mr. Omagi, could you please come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please pause for a moment of silence. Please be seated. Today, our quote comes from an educational treatise by the great philosopher Plutarch. I think is very topical for our last school board meeting that leaves us with an interesting outlook on education. For the mind does not require filling like a bottle, but rather, like wood, it only requires kindling to create in it an impulse to think independently and an ardent desire for the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Carroll, are there any additions and/or modifications to the agenda?
We do have one addition in front of you as an updated personnel action document that includes last-minute personnel changes. This document is to be included in the personnel action document provided to you in the board packet.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll. Ms. Purdy, can we do the recognitions, please?
Chair Burbridge, members of the board, colleagues, and community members, thank you for being with us this evening. We do have 3 recognitions. The first of which we always start off with is going to be our May Senior of the Month. So our Senior of the Month has consistently shown herself to be an exceptional student and an impressive individual. Academically, she has excelled in her studies, consistently taken on challenging courses such as honors, advanced placement, and dual enrollment. Aside from her academic achievements, this student is actively involved in a variety of extracurricular activities. She has exhibited leadership and teamwork as a member and captain of the volleyball team, where she undoubtedly brings her determination and commitment to succeed. Additionally, she has remarkable success in other sports, winning a regional title for tennis in 2022 and 23. Her achievements on the track have also been outstanding, having been crowned an all-region 4x200 relay indoor track winner in both the 2023 and 2024 years. And furthermore, this individual's dedication has led her to participate in various clubs at PHS, showing her passion for diverse interests and involvement within the school community. Her involvement extends beyond school grounds as she actively contributes to her community. She has gained valuable experience working at the James River Country Club and has provided support to other local families through babysitting. These experiences have undoubtedly shaped her character, instilling in her a sense of responsibility, reliability, and compassion. The Student of the Month's long-term goal of incorporating her love of sports into her future career demonstrates her deep commitment and passion for her chosen field. With her exceptional academic record, well-rounded extracurricular involvement, and strong character, there's no doubt that she'll be outstanding in whatever the future holds. Please help me congratulating Ms. Madison Wyatt as the May Student of the Month. As it is the end of the school year, we say goodbye to our student representative, Mr. AJ Lumaji. Oh my goodness, I said I wasn't going to mess it up. AJ has been a wonderful student representative and has shown great maturity as he has shared moments of reflection, led us in the pledge, and shared school reports at each meeting. When considering his strengths, it is easy to fall short of words. For example, his communications are not only strong, but well beyond his years. He is more than polite, but also considerate and intentional. He leads with a smile that is quite contagious to anyone who meets him. AJ is genuine and destined for great things, which are already happening as he was newly elected as the president of NHS and president of Rho Kappa for next school year. We wish you the best of luck, AJ, and can't wait to see what incredible things you'll do next. Would you mind joining us up front? Sorry, I didn't realize there was a certificate involved as well. Tonight, we are proud to recognize a personal accomplishment of an extraordinary student athlete whose precision, focus, and discipline have earned her national acclaim. Alex Orr traveled to Ohio last month to achieve not one, but 3 national records in the highly competitive sport of 3-position air rifle. Competing against the best in the nation, Alex earned the national records in the junior club division and the U5 age group with an incredible score of 199.17x. She also set another record in the under 15 category with an incredible score of 199.13x. Now, I want to take 15 seconds to explain this because if you're like me, these numbers don't translate. I did some research that I could share, and I hope that I don't misinform. But to start with, 3-position means that Alex took 20 shots while laying down, 20 while standing, and then 20 while kneeling. So the total score someone can get is 200 points, which is 10 points each. So the 199 you see here means that Alex only dropped 1 point. The number with the X, the 17 or the 13, shows how many times out of 20 she hit the bullseye. Now, let me also clarify this, because typically we think of the bullseye as like the middle inner circle. But did you know that inside that circle there's a tiny little X? And that is the true bullseye. So that means that she hit that 17 or 13 times out of 20. The other times she missed, she still made it inside the inner circle, which only one shot was outside that circle, which is how she dropped the 1 point. Wow, I just cannot imagine the complexity and skill it must take to earn these scores. These accomplishments have placed Alice amongst the elite in her sport nationwide. We are so proud of her and look forward to seeing where her talent and dedication take her next. Congratulations, Alex. That does conclude my recognitions for the evening.
Thank you, Ms. Purdy. Okay, I guess now we'll do our presentations and reports. Ms. Ide, can you give us the instructional update, please?
Okay, good evening, Chair Burbidge, school board members, Superintendent Tillett, staff members, community members. Tonight, I will be presenting briefly on the Gifted Education Plan and Summer Academy. In Virginia, each school division is required to develop and maintain a comprehensive local plan for the education of the gifted, which outlines how the division implements services for gifted students. The VDOE completes a technical review of these plans every 5 years. Tonight, we will be reviewing the newly revised gifted plan developed in collaboration with the Gifted Education Advisory Committee and gifted teachers. The Gifted Education Advisory Committee consists of PCPS teachers, administrators, parents, community members, school board member representative Mr. Chris Maxwell, and Ms. Kimberly Montalvo, our Director of Accountability, who oversees gifted education and PCPS. These photos just showed that in April at the GIAC meeting, we had primary and elementary school gifted students. They showcased their learning by presenting their impressive work throughout the school year. And these work samples are just a representation of their depth in thinking and creativity, and also the meaningful impact of the talent development and enrichment programs here in PCPS. So, developed in collaboration with the Gifted Education Advisory Committee and PCPS Gifted Education staff, the following plan highlights represent key components of our gifted plan. At the primary school level, students will participate in the talent development model designed to nurture emerging potential. All first and second grade students will receive push-in services provided by the gifted education teacher. These sessions will include enrichment activities focused on critical thinking and questioning skills. Enrichment will rotate between classes every other week, ensuring that each class has access to these services. In addition, identified students will take part in small group pull-out sessions for more targeted enrichment instruction. Student identification will be based on the performance on the Naglieri Nonverbal Ability Test, or the INNAT 3rd edition, a nationally recognized assessment that measures nonverbal reasoning abilities through tasks involving pattern recognition and spatial problem solving. Because the INNAT 3 does not rely on language, reading, or math skills, it is particularly effective in identifying gifted potential in younger learners. Its use supports our commitment to equitable access to gifted services by helping to uncover strengths that may not yet be reflected in academic performance. By incorporating the INNAT 3 into our talent development framework, we aim to recognize and nurture early signs of advanced thinking. At the elementary level, we continue to use the specific academic aptitude model, which identifies students who demonstrate exceptional ability in particular academic areas such as math or language arts. To support this model, we are using the Iowa Assessment Short Form, a nationally normed, reference-based tool that provides reliable data on student achievement in core academic subjects. The Iowa helps us objectively identify high-achieving students who may benefit from targeted gifted services in a specific content area. By using the Iowa brief, we ensure a consistent, equitable process that helps match services to students' demonstrated academic strengths. While the process for identifying gifted students will incorporate the Iowa as well as the INNAT, additional factors including parent and teacher rating scales, academic performance, state assessments when applicable, and other key data points will also be considered. All first grade students will be screened using the INNAT 3 to identify high-level reasoning skills, and in second grade, all students will take the Iowa assessment to measure the academic achievement in core subjects, the reading and math. These universal screenings help to ensure that all students have an opportunity to be considered for gifted services. Additionally, PCPS will regularly monitor and evaluate program data to ensure that identification practices and services remain aligned with student needs. Finally, we have communicated throughout the school year, we are steadily expanding our advanced course offerings to support secondary students in grades 6 through 12. For the upcoming school year, we will introduce accelerated science and social studies courses at the middle school. In addition, the new College Now program will launch, providing students with the opportunity to earn an associate's degree or its equivalent while still in high school. High school students continue to have access to advanced placement courses, whether it's provided by a PCPS teacher or through Virtual Virginia when they're not available in-house. And of course, you know we have access to CTE courses and Governor's School at New Horizons. Our updated gifted plan reflects a strong commitment to early talent development and academic excellence. By implementing universal screening with the INNAT 3 and Iowa assessments, and by using both the talent development and the specific academic aptitude models, we're ensuring that all students, regardless of background, have access to enrichment and advanced learning opportunities. Coupled with the expansion of advanced coursework at the secondary level, including accelerated courses at the middle school, AP courses, College Now, New Horizons, PCPS is creating a continuum of challenge and opportunity for students from kindergarten through graduation. We're proud of this work and grateful for the continued support of the board as we strive to recognize and nurture the potential of every learner. And the last bit I have is just sharing that our Summer Academy dates, June 30th through July 24th. Ms. Kristen Lim will serve as our summer school coordinator for the second year in a row. So far, we have invited over 250 students. Our permission slips are due on May 30th. And of course, our programming will serve K through 8, pre-K through 12 ESY extended school year. We will continue with our pre-algebra summer bridge course, which helps prepare those students going into pre-algebra into 6th grade if they so choose to have a better foundation of those pre-algebra skills. And we will be launching our college success skills for students who are pursuing that associate degree. That's a class required by Virginia Peninsula Community College. That's it for me.
So, well, I have two. Submitted your AIG five-year plan, or, I mean, this is the new cycle of.
With board approval, it will be submitted. Should be in the reading file.
It is
Yes.
briefly.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
really short. The other question I had is is it someone from the community college that's going to teach that college readiness course? Or
No,
someone
it can
qualified?
be our own staff it's one of those courses where generally most of our staff is qualified to teach it. They do provide us that curriculum, and then we teach it in-house, so
Oh, so you
we're
don't
just
need a
paying our own.
master's to teach it?
I do believe it still requires a master's
Okay.
degree, but it's more loose than some of the other courses where you have to have the master's plus.
I just have a quick question. I kind of missed it while I was writing.
Sure.
The pre-algebra prep course, is
The
that?
summer bridge course,
Okay,
yes.
so that's between 6th grade,
Going in between 5th and 6th grade, if you are recommended as a 6th grader to start pre-algebra, then it's an optional course that runs about 2 weeks in the summer to give you those foundational skills to help prepare you for that advanced curriculum, since it is advanced.
okay, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ide. Now for our operational update, Mr. Roberts.
All right, good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Mr. Tillett, staff, and community members. Kind of want to start out with a highlight. Our newest addition to the fleet is a 53-passenger bus equipped with a wheelchair lift and adjustable seating. This flexibility allows us to easily switch between additional wheelchair spaces or standard seats. The city garage team is pleased with the upgrades as well, which will make long-term maintenance easier. We're just finishing up final touches. There's some flashing lights that we had to make sure they were installed to meet safety needs, and look forward to putting this bus into service soon. We're also very excited to welcome the additional 3 77-passenger buses. The last report I give you, it would have been in November. They moved that up to August. So we'll be seeing those hopefully before the new school year, but definitely within that first month of school. All right, so the next few slides, I kind of want to give some additional information about the bus stop arm camera initiative that we've been pursuing. I've received some questions from Mr. Claude, he's even recent as today. Some of those questions will be answered in this presentation. Some of them I'm going to create like a question and an answer document that I'll share out to fully answer those questions. But yeah, I kind of want to just take some time to explain what it is, the vendor that we've been kind of discussing things with and so on. And this is one step of many. There's many hoops that we would have to go through to make this thing work, MOUs, your approval, and so forth. So we'll kind of discuss some of those, and that will all be, future board meetings for those kind of approvals, okay? So first, a new ordinance was just passed by our city council. Now we will be allowed for the division to approve by the school board in a future meeting the ability to use bus stop arm cameras. A special thank you goes to city council and Chief Cates for making this ordinance possible and giving us the opportunity to seek school board approval for this safety-driven initiative. Bus Patrol is the current vendor PCPS has been working with for information and options to provide the stop arm cameras, along with additional bus cameras to enhance overall bus safety. We're partnering with the Poquoson Police Department to enforce violations and are working with our legal counsel to finalize an MOU with the Poquoson Police Department. Once complete, we'll ask the school board to authorize the superintendent to move forward with the contract. This is a no-cost solution aimed at protecting our students, drivers, and community. Just last week, our bus drivers reported 8 incidents of vehicles illegally passing stop buses, reinforcing the urgent need that we need, a program of this nature. So, Bus Patrol as a vendor. The Bus Patrol program is designed to be turnkey and minimize any operational burden on the school division. Typically, school districts do not need to allocate new personnel or increase hours for existing staff to support the program. Bus Patrol manages all aspects of implementation, citation processing, customer service, and data reporting. PCPS main responsibilities would include coordinating access to buses for installation, approving messaging for community outreach, and minimal administrative coordination during rollout. I kind of want to point out that, this company's kind of push or motto is they want to inform, they don't want to surprise people, they want to get out in the community and say, hey, we're going to start doing this, because their whole thing is we're just wanting roads to be safe for students. So, they're wanting us to partner with them if we get this approval. From a law enforcement perspective, they would anticipate around 1 hour or less per week to review and approve or decline the citation, with Bus Patrol supporting their efforts financially to ensure they are reimbursed for all time spent on the program. All right, so for the citation review and cost recovery. Under the standard revenue share model, Bus Patrol recoups costs through its share of citation revenue. There are no upfront costs or out-of-pocket expenses for the school division at any point during the agreement. Bus Patrol receives 60% of paid citations until its monthly technology fee is covered. Once covered, the remaining 40% is paid directly to the school division. If citation revenue in any given month does not cover the full tech fee, the difference rolls over but is ultimately written off at the end of the agreement if not recouped. This ensures PCPS will never pay anything directly to Bus Patrol. This is a monthly process, so PCPS will have the ability to collect revenue starting in month 1 and throughout the 60-month agreement. All right, the cost per bus or fleet size. Bus Patrol covers all costs associated with equipping each bus, including hardware, installation, maintenance, data storage, and software. There is no per bus cost to PCPS. If 20 buses are enrolled, that cost fully is assumed by Bus Patrol with no financial liability to the district throughout the duration of the agreement. The monthly technology fee, again, is fully paid out of the program revenue or never from PCPS under any circumstance. All right, so switching gears, still bus. So this is back to the software we currently have. This is the Stop Finder is actually the parent app that we're trying to launch. So I kind of did want to give an update on that as far as we're talking softwares. So switching gears now to our current initiative of providing a parent bus app. As part of our ongoing efforts to enhance student transportation experience, we'll be launching a limited trial of our new bus tracking app on selected buses with a small group of invited parents. This test run is scheduled for the last week of school and will help us gather valuable feedback. Following that, we plan to expand testing during the summer academy to further evaluate performance and usability. The full launch of the app is planned for the start of the next school year. With this app, parents will be able to see their child's bus location in real time and receive estimated arrival times, which we hope will increase transparency and reduce stress during delays. It's also designed to help ease the effects of driver shortages by giving families more timely and accurate information. All right, and just a little reminder of the CIP. The proposed capital improvement plan for school years 2027 through 2031 was introduced today during our earlier work session, with formal approval scheduled for June school board meeting. The city now requires an approved CIP by July due to an updated timeline. Please note that this is a moving target, as we said before. Current figures are based on recent quotes with inflation-based adjustments, but costs are expected to rise due to ongoing inflation, tariffs, and market fluctuations. Quotes will be updated as needed to maintain accuracy and alignment with the city's requirements. And I kind of want to end here with some notable projects, summer projects that is, for when we end in June. As always, summer provides one of the most valuable opportunities to tackle and complete major projects across our division. This list highlights several of the larger and more notable initiatives we are undertaking, all with the goal of completion before teachers and students return in August. Our largest project, the high school HVAC system replacement, is already underway. We met with work early today, and we're pleased to report that the progress is on track. System components are arriving on campus daily, and installation is moving forward steadily. We're grateful for the opportunity to carry out these important upgrades and improvements. Special thanks to the school board and city council for their continued support and investments in our schools. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
As you mentioned, Andrew, and just for the public's knowledge, I did put together a list of questions. I received a copy, thank you, of the bus patrol proposed contract, and I'm not prepared tonight to ask questions. And there are a lot on here, so in interest of time, I'm not going to go into them, but yes, I would appreciate this.
Yeah, that Q&A will come out, and I'll share it away.
Right. One of my questions, or a couple of them, I will just mention, and that is with the vendor that was selected. How that came about, was there competitive bidding, did you look at, I know there's probably, at least looking online, 4 or 5 other companies that provide similar or services. This will go on all of the buses, correct?
Sure, yes.
And then I also, just personally, my concern with it is really not so much the safety or the cameras, really. I mean, absolutely, I think everyone wants our children to be safe. I have a kindergartner grandchild who rides the bus every day, so it's a concern. The other thing I think we all agree on is if we could save the city or the school money, we want to do it. Talking with you and with Artie about this, my understanding is, explain the revenue from this is going to be generated by the stop arm camera enforcement, which will include, in the contract, we're basically partnering with Bus Patrol to handle a lot of that. Now, without getting into the details, I will say that there's a list of our responsibilities, some of which I question whether or not, how much time of the staff would be involving adjudicating tickets and providing contacts for the court and various other things. And I don't know the answer, but those are things that I would be asking. But essentially, my understanding is the violators will receive a $250 citation, and it will be captured on their system. It will be provided to the police department. Everything I read, including watching the council meeting, the only responsibility they have is to review the image, the video, to make sure that it's an actual violation. At that point, it's turned over to Bus Patrol. They issue it, they follow it, if people don't pay it, they're involved in that, but there's also sections of the contract that says they're supposed to assist with some of that. Bottom line, I guess, in my opinion, I think maybe the danger there is that we might be stepping into the law enforcement side as a school division. And I know with everything else, I'm pretty sure, in talking with you, if we see a violation, observe something, we'll contact the police. If somebody's trespassing or various things, they take it from there. So my concern is, number one, because this contract is not with the police, it's with the school, that's something we really need to look at. And the other point being that I think, yes, we had 8 violations. No violations is the goal, but even on Bus Patrol's own website, they said 30% is basically what they're saying is the reduced rate. I've read a lot about it, and there's a lot of different opinions. But that concerns me. The other thing, they're authorized to set up an account at a bank, put this revenue in there. Again, I don't understand all of it. That's why we got you guys, to help understand that. Personally, I also did a little research. I found a company called Safe Fleet, for instance, that has something I hadn't heard of before, maybe you folks have, but there's a arm camera that they call predictive stop arm. And essentially, it uses some of the same technology, but what it does is when they predict or anticipate a vehicle passing the bus that's stopped, it alerts both the bus driver and the students on the bus to prevent them from exiting and going out and possibly being injured. To me, I think that's a very good way to do it, because you're not relying on violations and hoping that the safety is going to come from that side of it. Again, it's just information out there that I think maybe we should consider, we should talk about. Again, the memorandum of understanding will be coming, so I will, in the meantime, provide information and questions ahead of time. I greatly appreciate all the work that's been done. I just think myself that we need to make sure this is what's good for Poquoson. These cameras and citations and things are used in many, many school divisions around the country. Also, pros and cons out there about. I just basically wanted to make everybody aware of just what I've found. And Artie and Andrew, and I even included Tracy because of the finance, asked them if they could maybe tell us, kind of what, number one, what is the total cost of this that's anticipated, even though it will be generated from the violations. I think we should know just what we're getting. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all that you're doing to work on it. Certainly, I think the intentions are 100% for the safety. My hope is that that is truly what the company is looking for and not looking at a stream. Thank you again for your time.
No worries.
Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Spence for the finance and budget update.
Okay. Good evening, Chair Burbidge, members of the school board, Mr. Tillett, and members of our school community. For the finance report this evening, I will present updates to the school's fiscal year 25 and also the fiscal year 26 budget. As you know, the General Assembly approved the revised biennium budget for fiscal year 25 and 26 on February 22nd, 2025, and the governor signed the Commonwealth's budget on May 2nd. As part of the amended fiscal year 25 budget, PCPS has been allocated $220,004 to fund a mandatory one-time $1,000 bonus for all SOQ-funded staff. In alignment with this allocation, we would like to award a bonus to employees who were hired before April 1st, 2025, and are actively employed as of June 1st, 2025. Full-time employees and full-time long-term building substitutes will receive a $1,000 bonus. In addition, part-time employees will receive a $500 bonus, while hourly cafeteria workers will receive a $250 bonus. Other hourly employees, other than other long-term substitutes, daily substitutes, and those in supplemental roles will not be eligible for this bonus. Continuing on with fiscal year 25, To fully fund the proposed bonuses for eligible employees, we will need an additional $101,724 beyond the state allocation of approximately $220,000. We plan to cover these amounts using savings from unfilled positions, otherwise known as vacancy savings, along with other surplus revenue. A budget amendment to authorize these bonus payments is included in this evening's consent agenda for your consideration. Oh, did I go back? All right, here we go. I have a problem with that this evening. Going fast. On to to distribute the bonus to the eligible employees, or I've already gone through that, and we're going to distribute it on June 6th. Now on to fiscal year 26. In the Commonwealth's final approved budget for fiscal year 26, PCPS is set to receive an additional $474,637 in funding. This increase is primarily the result of fully funding the revised support cap, along with enhanced allocations for English language learner programs and expanded SPED services. The city's adopted budget for fiscal year 26 included a contribution of $12,588,038 toward school operations. This amount is $868,975 less than what was originally requested by the schools. Additionally, we had initially projected a 24% increase in the health insurance and premiums, which that cost was included in the approved budget. However, the most recent estimates are reflecting the revised increase of 17%. So this adjustment results in a projected savings of approximately $146,936 in health insurance cost. So the net impact of these adjustments leaves a net reduction of $247,402. And to address this overall net decrease in available funding, we reduced the salary implementation cost of the PCPS compensation plan by approximately 14%. The only exception to this reduction is for our bus drivers and aides, who will still receive 100% of the recommended salary adjustments as originally proposed. It's important to note that the budget still includes a 3% salary increase as originally proposed. The amended fiscal year 26 pay plan is included in the amended fiscal year 26 operating budget document for your approval. The next slides show the teacher scale comparison of where we are right now in fiscal year 25, the fiscal year 26 original scale, which was approved by the board in March, and then the proposed amended scale. Okay, well, I got the pictures. All right, so this is the bachelor's. Yeah, this is our bachelor lane. So column A is for the fiscal year current 25, the current pay plan. Column B is fiscal year 26 original as was approved in March. And then column C is the amended, and this will hold true for every lane that we're going to be reviewing. So what I would like to show you here, we can go to the peach column, which is the second one from the right. That is the difference in the fiscal year 26 amended and then the original. So if we were to go down to years of experience for 5, it's been reduced by $623. But I want to note there, it's still an increase of $4,684 from where we are right now. So as we're going out and we're trying to recruit teachers, it's a significant increase compared to where we have been. Now, we are still trying to go for the regional market average, and we're still striving for that. But this is a big part, big step for us to get there. Another item to note, we are having difficulty in our teachers with tenure for the 20-year 20 years of experience, it's going to be a $7,129 increase. So the next scale, our next lane is bachelor's plus 18, same methodology. So like in the second column from the right, which is what you had originally proposed, again, 5 years, it's about $672 less than originally approved, but we're still almost $4,700 above. Masters, same thing, and you're going to see a recurring pattern here. On the masters, 5, we have $622 less than what we originally had proposed and was approved, but it's still almost $4,800, more than where we are right now. And lastly, for our doctorate, with the doctorate with years of experience in 5 is $875, less than originally proposed, and $4,600 compared to where we are right now. So though we didn't get everything, and we're still going to be working toward that for the next fiscal year, this is a significant investment that I think the city has done, and we're very thankful for them doing that. Now on to the fiscal year 25 audit. The 2025 audit plan has been reviewed in coordination with our auditors. Preliminary field work is scheduled to begin the first week of July. Audits of the school activity funds will start in the last week of July, and the final audit field work is planned to begin in September. And that concludes my presentation for this evening. If you have any questions? Yes.
Yeah, actually, on one of your first slides, if you don't mind going back to it,
Sure.
it's talking about the funds provided by the state. And then
Okay, yep, gotcha.
Actually, I think it's this one right here. So I guess if I'm reading that right, 247,000 is the shortage we had.
That-
Pay increases that we wanted.
That is
Okay.
correct.
And you said it, but just to say it in a slightly different way, I was running some calculations too, and like you said, the ultimate goal is clearly to get up to the regional market average, but we are making a tremendous dent in that differential. And when I looked at the compensation study, for instance, it looked to me as though even adjusting for that 3%, everyone is getting a 3% raise
That's
this
right,
year.
exactly.
So throwing
So
that
we
out
just-
of the
yeah,
loop,
that's right.
we are still increasing, and again, it's a little different by years of service. So 10% is a big round number, but if I look at a year 0 teacher, maybe a year 5 teacher, it's calculating to me as though in addition to the 3%, that kind of everyone's getting, so we're really not jumping ahead there. Our teachers are getting an additional roundabout 10%, again, that won't be exact depending on your years of service,
Depends on
but
the years
that
of
would be
service and which lane you're in.
accurate overall.
Yes.
That's correct. Yeah.
Great.
So is that increase weighted by years of service, or is that just a direct result of the salary differentials there?
It's both and. Because our study was done line by line to the regional market average, so one way to look at it is, if you looked at year 5 around the 17 school divisions, that's not an equivalent number. So that was measured against all 17 school divisions for year 5. So each step stands alone on its own in the regional market average, which is what we requested them to do, so that we could say to our staff, regardless of where you are on the step, how many years of experience, and this is not just true, we just showed you teacher salaries, this includes all employees. So if you were a paraprofessional, they looked at your years of experience and compared what each of our paraprofessionals, each of our employees are, compared to all 17 school divisions in the region. Actually, it's 14 in the region, and we included 3 additional divisions outside of the region that were similar to us. So if you look at it as an average, as Ms. Jones says, it's an average of about 10% across the board. but each one of those pay rungs stands on its own. That's why the discrepancy is different in each pay rung. Did that answer your question?
Yes. And then I guess one last question. So, refreshing my memory, the city contribution decrease, what is that in a percentage of what we asked for? Am I wrong in thinking we asked for
Yes.
1.6?
This is using the totals. They gave us $12,588,038, and that was equivalent, we had asked for 1.3 more than our prior. So I'm just using the total numbers here. But it ended up being $868,000 some odd dollars less than was requested. So we had to offset that. Fortunately, we had increased state revenues, it had been previously reported. The health insurance is coming in. So that gave us that net, I'm gonna round up to $250,000.
Thank
I
you.
think it's approximately 50%
Yeah.
of the total increase.
That said, though, and recognizing my brief experience on city council, much like we talked about the capital improvements projects, the city is looking at everything from all their departments. To be very honest, if we're able to provide 86% of the compensation study, only 14% that we weren't able to do, I think is incredible, considering, too, as I understand, the time period these steps have been frozen, as already explained to me one time, for many years. This is a huge step, as you rightly pointed out, Tracy, and I think even though we couldn't do it all in one step, so to speak, I personally am committed, and I think all of us are, to do that, if at all possible, in the next budget talks, which will be coming up in the fall, right, again? Pick up that additional. Now, I recognize, too, there is a time, as was explained to me, next year, all the school systems are doing the same thing. But this, it looks like to me, gets us leaps and bounds ahead of where we were, and hopefully we can keep going in that direction. So, and a lot of credit goes to you, Tracy, Artie, all of you, the whole staff. Things like the health insurance premium, bringing that down. The ability to add, to kind of fill in that gap so that we could do what we did, I think is a credit to all of you, anybody involved in the process. And I know it was a lot of work, and we had to wait a lot of time for the state to get their funding. But also, I greatly appreciate the fact that the state, the General Assembly, and even the governor, at the end, they retained that funding, and we actually got, I think, a little more than we had anticipated, 390 or something, but we ended up 470.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two separate pots of money there, but the total of just under, $500,000 additional state funding came through that budget cycle, and that was, a godsend in this process.
Thank you.
Ms. Spence, just real quick, the bonus, that's gross, that'll be grossed up on,
Yeah, they'll
net
in their
1,000.
deposit, it'll be $1,000.
Yep.
At a very high level, I'm sorry, that just to go back one more time, since in our budget document, we have the pay plan, so we can see there were some snippets up there by the new pay scale, which I think looks really nice. Also in that document are supplements, and in speaking with some conversations that we've had over the past few weeks, can you speak quickly to what will be the process for a possible upcoming supplement audit in the
Absolutely.
fall?
Very good question, Ms. Jones. I'm glad you brought that up. We have done those sporadically throughout the years. Since I've been here, we've done two supplement audits, one with athletics only, and the second one with non-athletics. We have decided that moving forward, we're going to incorporate this process in the normal budget process. So the board, as will our staff, look at supplements annually. So we come in, when we start this process again in the fall, part of the conversation will be not only around salaries and compensation and the rest of the operation side of the budget, but also the part that speaks to stipends or supplements, because that is really a part of our pay plan and should be looked at annually. The goal is to stay competitive in that area as well. This board did some pretty significant things with regard to supplements, particularly around students, staff that works with special needs children, and those were greatly appreciated and helped us recruit and retain those hard-to-fill positions. So I think that work will continue, but we're going to do it now on an annual basis. So when we come to this board with our budget presentation, it will include recommended adjustments to stipends. One of those involves sponsors, for example, from clubs and organizations that are part of our stipend process. We found out through the last audit that it's all over the place. Some school divisions, even very large school divisions, that don't offer any stipends or supplements for those roles. We're thankful that we do in Poquoson, but we want to level that up with additional organizations as this board sees fit through that process.
I will just add one last comment. As a parent who was waiting at the bus stop until 4:45 today, I appreciate that we did keep the bus driver compensation package intact as it was.
And if I could just make one more general comment about the budget and the process, now that after you all take action tonight, it will have landed. This plane will have landed, and we will go to work then to build the payout process for next year's compensation, which is the vast majority. I say it every time I talk about budget. School budgets represent somewhere always around 80% of the overall budget of pretty much any school division in the country is HR. We're a business of people, by people, for people, and so that whenever you're moving the needle in a school budget, you're addressing HR compensation. So. The highlights of this I want to celebrate. You all have said it individually. We've talked about it collectively. But this is a historical moment in the compensation world of Poquoson City Public Schools. Forever, perhaps, as far back as I can find, Poquoson has ranked at the bottom of pay. Certainly on the peninsula, but in the region, and performs near the top. And that's an unusual dynamic around the country, to the credit of incredible educators that do this every day. This step that has happened with the amazing support from City Council, additional revenue. Some of members of this board wrote letters to help reduce that support cap initiative, and it worked. A lot of efforts, a lot of hand-holding together and getting there, but when it's all said and done, we're going to be closer to the middle after this action of compensation for our employees, much deserved. It will help us in retention. It will help us in recruiting of top quality professional educators, and I say it, you all are tired of hearing me say it, that's the difference maker between mediocre school divisions and high-performing school divisions. And Poquoson has been the anomaly with performing at the level we have year after year after year, and now we're going to be able to pay for it. So I'm excited about it. This is, as I've been around presenting this budget to our staff, there's a lot of excitement in the air, and they all, to a person, have expressed great appreciation to you all for your hard work and advocating for this budget, and certainly to our partners, as we say upstairs down the hall, with City Council and just incredible work that they do in juggling all of those requests to take care of the needs in this wonderful place. So thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Spence. Ms. Carroll, do we have any public comments tonight?
We have one speaker tonight.
Okay. I need to read this real quick. This is the public comment statement. The Poquoson School Board welcomes public comment during regular meetings. School board members do not respond to public comment during a meeting. All comments should address a matter related to Poquoson Public Schools. The school board will not hear public comment that involves an individual student-related matter, the disclosure of which would violate applicable confidentiality requirements. The school board expects that each speaker will be courteous, modeling for our students how one can respectfully disagree with others' views. Speakers will address their comments to the entire school board and not to one individual board member, nor to the superintendent, a staff member, or the audience. Speakers are encouraged not to engage in personal attacks. Speakers will present their comments from the podium. To follow school board policy, time allotted to speakers shall be 3 minutes. Thanks.
Our speaker tonight is Carol Wood from Church Street.
Good evening, Ms. Wood.
Good evening. Chairman Burbidge, Superintendent Tillett, Mr. Roberts, Mrs. Ide, Mrs. Spence, and school board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Carol Wood, and I am a member of the Exchange Club of Poquoson. I am also the organizer for the XL Club, which is located at Poquoson High School. The XL Club is a group of high school students who are dedicated to improving their schools, communities, and the country through Exchange's 3 programs of service: Americanism, youth programs, community service, as well as its national project, Prevention of Child Abuse. They focus on community service, leadership, development, and personal growth. My concern today is that Kiwanis clubs, Key Club at the high school and the Builders Club at the middle school teacher sponsors are compensated with a stipend by the school board for their efforts. The XL clubs and the Leo clubs teacher sponsors are not compensated. The XL club is new. This is their 3rd year with the school, and we anticipate that we will remain in the school for quite a while. By not compensating our teachers, you are showing us that you feel that the Kiwanis Club is more important to the school than other clubs. I would like to change your mindset. Our teacher sponsor, Simone Huey, is doing a tremendous job with our XL Club without compensation, volunteering her time. She works very hard with the club meetings twice a month in her block during lunch. Their time does not stop during school hours. They participate in many projects outside of school that the XL Club does, such as training sessions, Adopt a Spot, Seafoods Festival, Santa Breakfast, Christmas Parade, and many other projects to help organize and support the students. Simone puts in approximately 16 hours a month, totaling 144 hours in a school year of face-to-face time with the students. We cannot run our programs without our teacher sponsors. I am asking you to consider equally compensating the teachers in these positions to the same level as the other teachers who are compensated. I did start by going to Mr. Tillett with a copy to each of you to get this process started. It was quickly dismissed by my concern by saying that he knew.
You got one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, now I gotta find my place. I was quickly dismissed my concern by saying that he knew the civic organizations in question compensated the sponsors. He admitted the fact that the Kiwanians also compensate their club sponsors in addition to the school compensation. As an active Kiwanian, this is something I would think he would be aware of. This makes his previous comment null, and I again ask you to consider treating your major civic sponsors equally by compensating each staff sponsor the same. My understanding is that the budget has not yet been finalized, which is why our teachers have not yet received their contracts for next year. I would strongly ask that you consider this. I will ask if there is any point that needs clarifying. I have provided you each with a copy of my request and my contact info in the event I need to represent this same request next year. If this is the wrong time of year to present, I would appreciate being notified of when the right time will be. Thank you.
Is that it?
We have no more speakers.
Okay. Okay. Moving on to Section 7 is the consent agenda. Item A is approval of financial reports. Item B is authorization to change appropriation and to accept and expend funds in accordance with attached, I can't read it. Attached request. And item C is approval of personnel action, and for that personnel action, it's the revised personnel action. And then approval of minutes from the previous meeting, and approval to dispose of surplus property. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? No discussion. Ms. Carroll, can we have the vote?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Claude,
Aye.
Vice Chair DeBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 6-0.
Thank you. Moving on to item 8 is other matters for consideration. Item A is a motion to approve the gifted education plan for 2025, 2026 through 2029, 2030. Can I have a motion to approve the gifted education plan?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. Ms. Carroll, can we have the vote?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Claude,
Aye.
Vice Chair DeBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 6-0.
Okay, the last item is consideration of approval to amend the 2025-2026 budget. Can I have a motion for consideration of approval to amend the 25-26 budget?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Carroll, can we have the vote, please?
Dr. Bartlett,
Aye.
Mr. Claude,
Aye.
Vice Chair DeBose,
Aye.
Ms. Jones,
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell,
Aye.
Chair Burbidge.
Aye.
Vote passes 6-0.
Okay. Here's my paper copy. All right. Last item 9 is communication and/or other matters by school board and/or superintendent. Mr. Lamaghi, your last time up.
Better make it good. Let's see. Here are the reports from the Poquoson City Public Schools, starting with the primary school. As we wrap up our school year, our staff would like to express our thanks to our families and PPS PTO for their support this year. From dedicating our outdoor pavilion, sponsoring numerous community spirit events, financing school assemblies, and spoiling us, our families have been amazing. We have also had very well-attended family nights, music programs, and families have joined their children for lunches and field trips as well. Families have also worked hard to make sure that students are coming to school. We will be rewarding our students for once again improving our monthly attendance rate, Bubble Party on May 30th. Coming up in our remaining weeks, we have a kindergarten field trip to the zoo, rescheduled second grade field trip to Jamestown, and our field day. We are also looking forward to seeing the PHS class of 2025 walk our halls on the last week of school. Classroom teachers will be sending information about their end-of-year parties, and second grade families will get news in the Sunday newsletter about our second grade send-off parade on June 6th. PPS staff wishes all a happy, safe, and healthy summer. Then from the elementary school, Poquoson Elementary School staff was treated to a wonderful week of acknowledgement from our PTO and school community during Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. We are grateful for our PTO and parent volunteers who made the week so memorable for us all. Poquoson Elementary is in the middle of the end-of-year SOL testing window. We appreciate all of the parents' support in getting students to school on time for these end-of-year assessments. We are eagerly awaiting a chance to celebrate student growth with our upcoming field day, a few field day surprises, and performance from the PHS Evolution Show Choir. We know this will be a great day for all of our students. Our fifth graders are closing out their elementary years with a walking field trip visit to the Poquoson Museum Gardens, along with their middle school promotion and music performance the last week of school. While we are winding down and completing our end-of-year tasks, it is important for us to say thank you to our families, PTO, school community, division leadership team, and school board members for the support provided this school year. Next, from the middle school. May is a busy and exciting time at Poquoson Middle School. The Poquoson Middle School Jazz Band received superior ratings at assessment on April 29th. PMS is now the only middle school band on the peninsula receiving the Virginia Band and Orchestra Directors Association Program honor recognition. A huge congratulations is extended to the PMS Jazz Band students and their outstanding band director, Mr. Lawson. We have concluded our first round of SOL testing. Makeups, remediation, and expedited retakes will occur from now through Tuesday, June 2nd. We also wish our Odyssey of the Mind team and all other Poquoson teams the absolute best of luck as they compete in the World Finals Tournament in Michigan this week. We are so proud of you. Our 7th grade students are excited to go on a field trip to the Virginia Living Museum tomorrow. PMS will host our spring chorus concert tomorrow evening and our spring band concert on May 29th. Both outstanding performances will take place in the PMS auditorium. Our band and chorus students, along with directors Mr. Lawson and Mrs. Wade, are wished the best of luck at assessments on May 30th at King's Dominion. Congratulations is extended to our May Golden Bull Students of the Month. 6th grade, Brennan Shaner, 7th grade, Sean Jardine, and 8th grade, Chloe Banks. PMS is looking forward to hosting our 8th grade send-off parade on June 3rd from 5 to 6 p.m. in the PHS drop-off loop. This is an exciting event for our 8th graders and their families. We look forward to recognizing each student as they prepare to transition to high school. We would like to thank the PMS PTO, our parents, and the division for all of the support that was expressed to our faculty and staff in honor of Teacher Appreciation. Your notes, gifts, and treats are greatly appreciated. And lastly, from the high school, Poquoson High School recently celebrated a successful prom and after prom. Thank you to all the chaperones and parent volunteers whose time, energy, and dedication helped make the event safe, memorable, and successful for our students. We are proud to see both girls and boys tennis advancing to regional play, with other spring sports teams anticipating playoffs starting next week. We honored seniors at Scholarship Night, awarding an impressive $410,200, and held our Spring Honor Society's inductions as well. The spring musical, Bye Bye Birdie, was a success. The band performed their spring concert this weekend, and the chorus concert is scheduled for May 27th. We are now preparing for graduation on June 6th at 6 p.m. at Liberty Baptist Church. We thank everyone for another wonderful year at Poquoson High School, and we look forward to finishing the year strong. This concludes the announcements for the school district and my term as student representative. I just wanted to thank all of the wonderful board members here for your patience and your kindness with me, as well as the faculty and the principals. It has been an absolutely wonderful time. Thank you to everybody for this opportunity. I hope to take these skills with me in my future career and to continue to serve the community in different ways. Thank you, Mr. Tillett, for your kindness. Thank you, Mr. Maxwell, for our fun conversations during the meetings. Thank you also, Mrs. Purdy, for reminding me without fail to turn in my reports to you, which I often forget. I would never have expected to have this great opportunity. My first year at the high school was only last year, and that was my first year in any public school, apart from homeschool my entire life. So this has been a great opportunity that I didn't think I would have, and I have had a unique and appreciative view of the school board and the wonderful things that we get done here, to see the concerns and interests of parents brought up at the school board, and every time to see solutions found and compromises made, and just really amazing work being done by a school district that truly cares about its students. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Maxwell?
We usually have the burden of going first, but I'm going to take the rare opportunity in going first, I get to be the first person to congratulate you post-service in your roles. Right, I'll also continue with my preemptive echo of whatever my fellow board members will mention that I will inevitably forget to say. Also, congratulations to this Senior of the Month, Miss Madison Wyatt, another outstanding resume, well-deserved honor. Miss Alex Orr, the three-time national record holder. You know, I would say congratulations, but that 200, no, I'm just kidding. 199 out of 200 is outstanding. We have national caliber students here, and under 15. Much more time to get that 200, putting the challenge out there. All right. Thank you, Ms. Ide, and Ms. Montalvo for your work putting together the gifted education plan. Ms. Spence for preparing the budget. Thank you, Mr. Robert, for giving us that update and all the work you've done on working with our buses and operations on the whole. Thank you to the Poquoson Primary School faculty for hosting the art show. That was a great our household. Thank you, and actually, preemptive congratulations to the 2025 grads, Poquoson High School. And also, lastly, a good luck to all those playoff-bound teams at the high school.
Thank you. Dr. Bartlett?
I want to echo congratulations to Madison Wyatt, our Senior of the Month, and to our air rifle champion, Alex Orr. It's very impressive accomplishments from both of those. I would like to share my honor and pleasure in getting to know AJ Lamaji. So as much, I just can't imagine the success you're going to continue. I feel blessed that you've been here, so thank you for that. And lastly, y'all know I'm a classroom person. I've been in classroom, and this is always the most intense time of year, where there's a real friction, an emotional friction between wanting to prove that you've learned all that you've learned, or AKA test anxiety. That's a real emotion that runs through. The other emotion is absolute crazy happiness because we're almost finished and summer's right here. So with those thoughts in mind, I miss it. And I wish everyone the best closing you can possibly have. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Claude?
Thank you, Mr. Lamaji. Thank you so much. I've only been on the board myself since November, so we've had a short period of time. I tell you, you have impressed me very much. You're, in my estimation, a very fine young man. Folks should be, and I'm sure are, very proud of you. Wish you on the board. But I'm also looking forward to a new person that's going to be joining us. We've got some interviews coming up for that. So thank you very much and wish you all the best going forward in the future. I'd like to congratulate you. He mentioned the tennis team's accomplishments. So congratulations to them. Carol, Ms. Wood, thank you for coming out tonight and speaking to us. I will just mention discussion with the superintendent. XL Club and the Leo Club, I've been assured, will be part of the stipend coming up in the audit. Now, that won't take place for this budget, obviously, that we just approved, but it would start at the next budget. Is that correct? Just wanted to let you know that. We do appreciate all the work your club does. It's phenomenal. All the things you read, and I was impressed at how fast you read them, because that time period in the shot clock, as I call it, makes people nervous, I think. But anyway, thank you for your time. And with that also in mind, I would just like to thank the folks that take the time to come to our meetings, to comment, for your emails, for your contact outside of schools. We see you in private life at the grocery stores and other places, and appreciate your always expressing your concerns, appreciation and gratitude to the schools and the job that they do. I appreciate those also who take the time to watch us at home. I look at the YouTube video, not to watch myself because I don't see myself, but to see what the views are, and it's incredible. We're up to like 100, 200 views in some meetings, and that's very encouraging to me that people are interested in seeing what we're doing, and I think I can speak for everyone here. That's what we encourage. Please let us know, talk to us. Let us know about what we're doing right and what maybe we could do better. We welcome that. So with that said, I also wish, because I guess we won't be back here for until after the close of the school year, but thank everyone in every school, school board office, just can't thank you enough. Words don't say it. I wish everybody, the families and the students and all a great summer, and look forward to. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
A little repetitive, but I think for good reason. A big congratulations to our Senior of the Month, Ms. Wyatt. AJ, thank you for your always, I personally just very much enjoy I always find your quotes to be timely and inspirational. They're very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. I enjoy them every month. Your reports are very informative, and it has truly been a pleasure serving with you this year. So no doubt your future is a very bright one. So thank you for your time and service to this board and your students and our community. So your fellow students and our community. Ms. Orr, that was so impressive. Thank you for highlighting that tremendous accomplishment. We don't always get to hear things like that are outside of the VHSL, kind of world that's right here, with the sports that are in our backyard. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Ms. Spence, the Finance Department, City Council, thank you for the work on the budget. We will continue to strive, for competitive compensation, but this is absolutely a awesome start. So I'm very excited about that, but I know this budget was a lot of work, and maybe even more work than in other years, although I'm sure every year brings its challenges. So thank you for that. And finally, just may we all take some time over the upcoming holiday weekend to reflect on the ultimate sacrifices of all the patriots who came before us, wishing all a very safe Memorial Day weekend, and good luck to our graduates and all of our students as we're wrapping up the school year.
Thank you. Mr. DeBose?
AJ, thank you. It's been a pleasure. A lot of echoing comments, so I'll try to avoid some of those echoing comments. Want to thank the retiring teachers. We have a few, and a few very good ones that are leaving us. We've all kind of talked about it, and I'll talk about it again. The budget, this is huge for us, and what we've been able to do for all of our staff, not just the teachers. So it's very awesome. Also want to mention Odyssey of the Mind. AJ mentioned in his report about going. Again, we have 3 teams going: elementary, middle, and high school. Couple things about what they were able to do in state competition. 2 of the teams held 972 pounds, with a structure that weighs a little bit more than 3 nickels. Put that in perspective, okay? And then, and then another team held 832 pounds with a structure that did weigh 3 nickels. So, and it's 15 grams. So, some amazing stuff that these students are doing. And there's 21 of them going to state today and tomorrow. Some of them via plane, some of them via car. Hopefully none of them via boat, because they'll never get there. And if you're interested, the competitions will be streamed live on YouTube if you go look it up. So, wishing all of them best luck. So that's all good.
Thank you. So is that the national? World, that's at Michigan State?
Michigan State.
Okay. I'm going to reiterate a few things. Congratulations to Ms. Wyatt, the Senior of the Month. Also to Miss Orr, three-time national record holder with the Civilian Marksmanship Program. That's a big accomplishment. That's just amazing. I'd also like to thank Miss Ide for all the work she's done with the GIAC program and getting the funding, the program put together. Mr. Roberts, thank you for all your work on the school bus GPS tracking system. I know that there are a lot of parents that will definitely appreciate all your hard work come the fall when this works. Keep our fingers crossed. Ms. Spence, the finance work that you and your team did was absolutely amazing. I really appreciate all the hard work you guys put into that. It's amazing what you guys were able to do, so thank you. And AJ, thank you for all the work you did this year. I really enjoyed your inspirational quotes at the beginning of the meeting, and your summary of the schools was excellent. I always learned something that I didn't know was happening, so I appreciate that. I hope you have a great rest of your school year and have a excellent summer. And lastly, I hope everyone has a safe Memorial Day weekend. We've only got a few weeks left and then we're done. So thank you. That's it.
Again, going last, I echo all the comments made as I usually do, but I want to end with this. If anyone has concern or fear for the future of our youth, they need only to spend a few moments with A.J. Umagi, and that will all change. He represents the best of what we have in not only in Poquoson but in the nation, and I look forward to following his journey, and I hope he keeps in touch with us. I had the distinct honor of writing a college recommendation for AJ, and I always do that selectively with kids that I can actually talk about, that I know, and I usually try to keep it to one page. That was very difficult in this case because AJ does it all. So it was an honor to do that, and I'm looking forward to your success. So it's been a pleasure working with you. And lastly, I want to thank again all of our staff, 305 employees who come to work every day and make this great school system even better. And I'm thankful every time I'm around this group of professional educators because they do it for all the right reasons. They do it because they love children and are committed to their futures. And it's an honor to serve alongside these folks. So as we narrow down to the last 12 days, I believe, but who's counting? This is the time when we celebrate this great success of a wonderful group of professional educators. So I want to thank all of you who are listening. Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, Ms. Carroll, is there any additional material for board review?
No, we have no more material for review.
Okay. The next item is we're going to go into a closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia. I move that this board go into closed meeting to consider the assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the school board, or for discussion, consideration, or interview of prospective candidates for employment. Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Chris, you move.
Any questions or discussion? Ms. Carroll, can we have a vote?
Dr. Bartlett? Aye. Mr. Claude?
Aye.
Vice Chair DuBose?
Aye.
Ms. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Maxwell?
Aye.
Chair Burbidge? That passes 6-0.
Okay. We'll all meet in the side room.